All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. My name is Claire, and I will be your professor for the winemaking class, VITI 308, which is Fruit to Wine Enology. So, very excited to have you guys here this fall. This is one of my favorite classes of all time. This was the first class I ever taught at Folsom Lake College, and it's just been a joy because it's so much fun to have you guys make your own wines and really see the process come together and then get to take home some of the product. So, it's very, very cool. Definitely lots of bragging rights at the college for that. So welcome. Glad you guys are here. So today I want to talk about the viticulture program. Just give you a little background information in case you're new to what we offer and you don't know. I also have some important links for the class. We're going to go over like Canvas, the syllabus, Discord, and how to get onto the Wi-Fi. So first things first about the VITI program. VITI is our acronym for viticulture and enology, although it's really just an acronym for VITI. We offer, for viticulture, we offer a lot of different things in this program. So viticulture, if you don't know, is the study of grapevine production, and enology is winemaking. In addition to that, we have wine tasting classes, food and wine pairing, appreciation, and then eventually down the road we'll be adding some wine business courses, marketing, and more. So a lot of things to look forward to, and also a lot of things that are really cool now. The most recent development that's very exciting is we just established a student vineyard for students to actually work in. So we're very, very excited to have that here at the Eldorado Center campus attached to our classroom. So it's an all-in-one setting for your guys' education. So very exciting. Benefits of being a part of the viticulture and enology program is one, most people who sign up to take these courses do it because they just find it really interesting and they want to be here, which is really cool. We're very privileged in that aspect because students who come to class are genuinely excited and really motivated to learn. So it's a really positive learning environment. We also are just surrounded by a community of small vineyards and wineries, family businesses. Our state as a whole has a massive wine industry, so there's lots of opportunities for work. It's a big system. Although the wine industry is not doing fantastic right now, I do thoroughly believe that alcohol is not going anywhere. I think everything ebbs and flows. And it's also a passion job. It's just like teaching or so many other jobs out there. You do it because you're passionate about it, right? So if that interests you, you're in the right place, and you're doing the right things. So lots of different things you could do with this. There's vineyard work. If you want to be a viticulturist, you have a green thumb, you want to be outdoors. There's also winemaking if you're interested in fermentation science, hospitality, management if you like throwing big parties, right? If you'd like to become a sommelier, this is a great place to start your education before you get certified. We also have food and wine pairing, marketing, and much more as an option. Also, if you wanted to continue your education to much broader forms of science, there's food science, just in general, research, fermentation science, brewing, kombucha, tea, coffee, spirits, you name it. So all of these products that we consume have, millions, if not billions of dollars of research and studies and development to make something that's good and healthy for people. So there are so many areas within that broader sense of like agriculture and food and development. So consider that. Oftentimes I feel like we don't inform students what their options could be when they pursue STEM. It's like, okay, well, like science, technology, engineering, mathematics, have fun. It's like, okay, well, what am I doing with any of those things? It's like, well, here is an option of something that you could very well do with that as a major. So anyways, that's about the program. Oh, and I forgot to add, if you'd like to learn about our certificate or our degree, I have the program map linked here for you to check out. Okay. So, important links for the class. We have Canvas. If you haven't been in a class for a long time, or if you haven't been with Los Rios, we use Canvas for our courses. It comes as both a browser website or also an app. I highly recommend you use the browser. It's a lot more user-friendly, ironically, just there's a lot more space for more buttons, so it's just easier to navigate. You have more options. The student app is helpful. and it's free, so you're welcome to download that as well. Just make sure you download the student app and not the teacher app, because there's an instructor one as well. We also have the syllabus, our class schedule, Discord, and Wi-Fi. I'm going to open up the syllabus first, because that will lead us into Canvas, the schedule, Discord, and everything else as well. I'm going to send you guys this presentation before class even begins, so you have access to all these links, as well as the syllabus, and you guys should be covered for getting started for class, right? So let's go on to the syllabus. Perfect. Okay, so this is VITI 308, the winemaking class. And this class, despite what online might have told you when you signed up, Tuesdays will be online. That's when we'll do like our recorded lectures that you could watch at your leisure. And then Thursday nights we'll do our labs from 6 to 8:20 p.m. in A105 at the El Dorado Center. Here's my email if you need to contact me, and I do have an office. If you'd like to schedule office hours, just send me an email and schedule that, and we can do that together. The student learning objectives for this class are to increase understanding and experience in winemaking through the lens of all practical, chemical, biological, and artistic backgrounds, know various winemaking styles and how to implement them, understand wine measurements, including pH, titratable acidity, SO2, and how each one affects the wine. Identify wine spoilage and where it comes from. So, for example, Brett's, volatile acidity, TCA. And last but not least, understand what wine quality is to you and how the general public sees wine quality. So, a very fun conversation there. So that is the big takeaways of what you'll be learning this semester. I have the class schedule here for you guys on another spreadsheet. And this is going to be extremely variable, and that is because our class is winemaking, and winemaking is dependent on when the fruit is ready to harvest. So while we understand what lectures and content we have to go through, our labs are going to have to be ready for whatever the fruit comes in, basically, right? So there'll be lots of pivoting, but you guys will know what's going on at the beginning of the week every week, right? So I have it kind of sectioned into weeks here. So you have week 1, Monday is online, so you'll be watching this video, and it will be linked here. I'll also link it to the module, which I'll show you in a second. It'll be introduction to the class, intro to wine, and then there'll be a quiz to follow that as well. And then that will be due by the following week. Thursdays, we're going to meet in A105 for our lab. Lab activity is not decided yet because we don't know when the fruit's coming in. So there will be something, and you will know by Monday or at the beginning of the week what it is. But this is where you can reference our schedule. I'll also show you what our schedule looks like on Canvas through modules. So as long as you're looking at one or the other, you should be in a good spot. So yeah, this is our schedule. Lovely. Okay, class layout. So if you've been in my classes before, this is actually a little bit different than how I've previously done it. The class layout I'm trying this year is the module system. So instead of having different sections on Canvas, they're like files and quizzes and notes and having you navigate each of those sections, I'm just going to lay everything out in a module. So I'll just say like module 1 is week 1. And here's what you need for a lecture. And here's what you need for a lab. And here is your assignment or your quiz that's due. So it'll all be listed in one section for you to access. And as long as you print out or do the quizzes and follow the due dates, you should be fine. So hopefully that will be easier to navigate and a little more intuitive. And we'll just see how it goes this semester. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to the old ways. But it's always nice to try something new, right? Quizzes, exams, assignments, everything will be completed on Canvas except for labs. Labs are in person. We'll have worksheets to complete for some of them, not all of them. The winemaking labs is just very hands-on work. But the labs are sticky, so it's really important that you guys wear proper clothes and protection. So, closed-toed shoes, making sure you're wearing pants, If you have long hair, it must be tied back. We do use machinery that's in motion, and heaven forbid anything gets caught. Would not be a good time, right? So same thing goes with like any jewelry or like bracelets that have any hanging parts. Like we just want to make sure we're being very careful, and I'll be sure to go over this with you guys during lab time for sure. Textbooks. The textbooks are not required, but if you are considering a career in wine, working in the wine industry, or you just really want to get the most out of this class and your education, I highly recommend that you get Wine Production by Ted Goldammer. A really nice book. He's also the author of the Grape Grower's Handbook, which we use for the viticulture class. So they're both around. Both the viticulture and the wine production textbook are $100 each, but like very good textbooks, very good information, very good pictures, and is a very complete perspective on both sides of the process that you won't really need much else. If you would like to do what UC Davis does, I highly recommend using Principles and Practices of Winemaking. This was written by professors and researchers of UC Davis. It is also a fantastic resource. This is my first textbook in winemaking when I went to Davis, and it's just a wonderful resource. Not a ton of pictures. It can be a little higher level reading for some folks, but there's nothing wrong with it. And if your dream is to transfer to Davis and get the viticulture and enology bachelor's or master's degree, you might as well just buy this textbook and start using it so that way you're ready for those classes, right? So I also recommend that. And then there's also this book. This was also required at UC Davis for the labs. This is Wine Laboratory Practices and Procedures. So this is really a formal like lab manual on how to do all the lab measurements, right? So pH, TA, what could have possibly gone wrong, all of those things. That's also a good book. I also want to let you guys know that there's a wonderful used book site called Alibri or Alibris. And you can find a lot of books on here used for a really good price. So like let's say we want to do Principles and Practices of Winemaking. Let's see if they have it. They don't have everything, but sometimes they do. Okay, awesome. So we can get this used for $70, right? And for new, it's $315, right? And they'll tell you like what condition it's in, how much shipping is, but I've purchased textbooks for here for a very good deal. Like I said, they don't have everything, but if you're taking other courses and it's maybe like an older textbook, and you're trying to save some money, like here we go, like See All from $57. So this textbook, which is originally new, around $300, you can get for as low as $57, right? So it's a good website. I highly recommend it. If you have any other textbooks you're looking for, it's worth checking out. Unfortunately, the Ted Goldammer books, I've tried looking and they're not available on Alibri or Alibris yet. So those are the textbooks. Not required. You'll totally get all the information you need to be successful in this class with what I provide you. But if you'd like to have it, and also that's what I'm resourcing for the content of the course. So if you would like to use that, you're welcome to. Grading scale is just an average grading scale. We don't have a curve in this class. Important dates and deadlines. I have that posted here. I also have a link to the academic calendar if you'd like to see the full site for that. This is just important so you know like if you need to drop the class or you want to do it by the time you get refunded or if something happens, no worries. Now you know the dates that's going down. Conduct and discipline. I've never had any problems with any students or any situations, but I do just put in my syllabus, students are expected to act within the bounds of the FLC Code of Conduct. As a student at Los Rios, you are agreeing to abide by this Code of Conduct, right? It's for everyone's safety and your own. And it's also like your rights as a student. So now if you would like to read that, then you can understand what your rights are. And then we also have communication. Check Canvas often. I will see you guys in person once a week, so we'll get a chance to answer any questions or clear up anything in person. Don't be afraid to send me an email, either through my personal or my work email, or through Canvas itself. And I'll show you that momentarily. And we should be good. We also have our Discord group. I'm gonna go over that with you guys last. Okay, so we just went through the syllabus. Now I want to go through Canvas specifically. So let me go to Canvas. So when you sign into Canvas, it's Los Rios single sign-on. You log in with your W plus ID and then the password that you use to sign up for the class. This is VITI 308, Fruit to Wine. So our class is published. And here's our home page. So once you enter, we have a little write-up about the class, some important links, a little bit about me, and then we also have some announcements at the top. And this is our home page. This class is different than my previous courses because we're doing the module system now. So you just go to modules, and everything you need for the week will be posted under week 1. So this is the first week of school. Week 1, we have this presentation that it's the same one as this one posted here for you guys if you'd like to print it out or just look at it. I also have the syllabus, class schedule, the Discord invite again, and then so that's lecture materials, and then everything you need for the lab is also listed here. So I want you to sign the lab waiver, and then there will also be a section for assigned work. So if there's a quiz I need you to do or an assignment, it'll be listed under there as well. So like I said, the goal is everything that you need for the week will be posted on Monday in a list, and then you have everything that you need for the week and you know exactly what you need to do, right? It is important to note that when we have a lab and there's like a worksheet attached, you are responsible for printing it out and bringing it to class, okay? So just make sure you do that. I'll remind you again, don't worry. So that is important. So when you get a chance, please do sign the lab waiver. This is important for your participation in class. It just is a liability statement. It's just making sure that like in the event you break your pinky toe because you decided to wear flip-flops to lab and then you kicked a rock because you're upset. I don't know. Something. If you got hurt, the college is not liable. That's a big thing. So you have to sign it to participate in the labs. So hopefully the module system makes sense. As we continue on through the course, of course, we'll have multiple weeks of published content, and then you'll go through that. If you would also like to just look at the files on their own, there'll be a section for that as well, and assignments and grades. Cool. So that is Canvas. And again, we have the syllabus and course schedule up here. I would open up those links, bookmark them, or just look at them once a week when you log in. If you would like to see the course schedule, I'll update that as we go too. But as long as you're checking the modules, you should be in a good spot. Cool. So that was Canvas. Next we have Discord. So if you don't know what Discord is, it's really just a fantastic communication hub. It's free. You can create a profile, and also you are not required to do this for the class. This is purely for if you would like to be in contact, be a part of the community, and know what's going on, and also like have an opportunity to ask questions and get help. That's what this Discord is for. So this is FLC VITI group, and as you see, we have lots of channels here on this left side. So we have like a welcome page, announcements, right? Wine tasting groups. We have students who have been traveling and doing some really cool wine tastings. They're sharing their experiences with us. And also students will go on here and very well be like, hey, I'm going to Sonoma this weekend. Does anyone else want to come with me? Or I'm going to Amador, or does anyone have any good recommendations for this? So that's a really good place to post that. We also have a section for internships and jobs, scholarships, and then we also have channels for every class in the program as well. So for 308, Enology, we have a section, and it's just like a text group where it just keeps adding on, so you could scroll back and see what people asked last year. We have stuff all the way back from January 16th, 2025, or so at the beginning of this year, right? And just questions in general, right? So feel free to post. Do keep in mind anything that you post, everyone will see. So just keep that in mind before you post something, I don't know, potentially interesting. But again, not required, but it is helpful. I will say too, like, we're doing Wines of the World this fall. If there's any time that we have extra seats open, I do extend the invitation to other students in the program. So if you sign up for Discord, you'll know when those tastings are, if there's any openings. So if that's important to you, then I would definitely sign up. Cool. And then last but not least, we have instructions for logging into campus Wi-Fi. I don't have service at the El Dorado Center, and heaven forbid you don't have service as well, and you have someone calls you in an emergency or something. At least hopefully you'll be able to connect to Wi-Fi so you can still get that call, right? So instructions vary, depend on what type of like phone you have or laptop, etc. So just go ahead and go onto the site, and it will give you step-by-step instructions on how to get onto the Wi-Fi. Cool. All right. I believe that was everything. I hope that makes sense. I will be on campus Tuesday night, just in case anyone didn't get the memo that class was online. I will email this to you guys. And I'm also happy to go over any questions or concerns we meet on Thursday night as well. So, lovely. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. And here's to an exciting fall semester. Thanks, guys.